I am happy to talk about this stuff, and we will correct it when we get it wrong. But we will also correct you if you say publicly that we are wrong when we are really not. There are too many people who work too hard on this show for us to get slandered when we are, in fact, telling the truth. Usually somebody saying something untrue about MSNBC or about this show, usually, honestly, it doesn't rise above the level of somebody being wrong on the internet. But sometimes it's real newspapers doing what looks like real fact-checking, and they really get it wrong. The right wing this week, for example, got very excited when a St. Petersburg Times project called PolitiFact called a piece of our reporting on the Wisconsin crisis false. It was specifically about Wisconsin's budget. They said, quote, Maddow and the others are wrong. There is indeed a projected deficit in Wisconsin. Flashing red lights, bells and whistles, meter to red. Maddow lied. She said there's no budget shortfall in the state of Wisconsin. Roll the tape. There is, in fact, a $137 million budget shortfall. PolitiFact ran a whole article about me supposedly denying the existence of a budget shortfall in Wisconsin. They say, quote, here's the bottom line. There should be no debate on whether or not there is a shortfall. We rate Maddow's take false. Tape? There is, in fact, a $137 million budget shortfall. PolitiFact says I am false, because I denied there is a budget shortfall in Wisconsin. There is, in fact, a $137 million budget shortfall. If you're somebody who does not bite your nails but you would like to start, if you feel like reading the letters we sent to PolitiFact asking them to please run a correction on this, we have posted those letters on our blog. So you too can share in our frustration. They have told us they do not intend to run a correction about their mistakes on this, which I should not find astonishing, but I do. PolitiFact, you are wrong here on the facts and bluntly, and you ought to correct it. Putting the word fact in your name does not grant you automatic mastery of the facts. When Karl Rove wrote in the Wall Street Journal that Barack Obama had, quote, the worst ratings of any president at the end of his first year, PolitiFact rated that mostly true, even though the approval rating Mr. Rove cited was 49%, and Ronald Reagan posted a 48% approval rating at the end of his first year. Did not matter to PolitiFact, apparently. They rated the statement from Mr. Rove as mostly true. What? Yeah, because apparently the word true means a lot less than you think it means. PolitiFact also said that Democratic Congresswoman Nita Lowey's explanation of the Stupak Amendment, the abortion amendment to health reform, they called that a false analysis. When PolitiFact was challenged on that claim by the website Fire Dog Lake, PolitiFact reportedly conceded to Fire Dog Lake that what Congresswoman Lowey had said about the bill, her analysis of the bill, they conceded that, okay, what she said could be true in some cases. They just didn't find it to be a likely predictor of what was going to happen in the future. So even though they apparently conceded it could be true, they decided to not run a correction and stick with their ruling that it was false. It could be true, but we're going to call it false. Because what is true, really? We have fact in our name. Right now on the internet, there are people who are upset with a host at the Fox News channel whose name is Shepard Smith. They're upset because Mr. Smith cited the same data that I cited recently about big money outside contributors in the last election cycle. According to OpenSecrets.org, which everybody cites, which tracks federal election filings and which nobody is impugning, here are those contributors. And we've been talking about this for the last few days. Of the top 10, 7 of the top 10 from the last election, 7 of the top 10 are contributing to the right. Only 3 of them are contributing to the left. And the only 3 that are contributing to the left are unions. This, I believe, is a key piece of analysis for understanding why the Republicans are going after unions. If you can dismantle unions, if you can weaken unions, and the sector in the economy where unions are strongest is the public sector, if you can weaken unions, that has clear partisan implications. There are only 3 out of the top 10 contributors of big money and outside groups in the last election who are not contributing to right-wing causes, and they are the unions. But the right wing is on fire right now about Shep Smith citing that same information that I cited because I also cited it, and therefore it must be false. Because this particular burst of anger is a pure right-wing internet phenomenon, if you have seen anything about this, you have probably seen it retweeted some point as Rachel Maddow is wrong and she looks like a man. Also, favorite, Rachel Maddow is wrong and also gay. Just because you don't like the way it sounds when I say it, or you don't like my haircut, or you don't like that I'm gay, it does not mean that what we say is not true. Those are the real numbers from OpenSecrets.org. Those are the real big money outside contributors from the last election cycle. It was true when Open Secrets said it. It was true when I said it. It is true when Mr. Smith over at the Fox News Channel said it. And if you squint a little bit, it is true. I do sometimes look like a dude, and I am definitely gay.